Welcome to the space of NFT PowerUp. Compete for blue chip NFTs, cash prizes, and more on NFT PowerUp's trivia platform. The space will begin shortly. While you wait, join the back channel discussion on Discord. Join us every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for commentary on the latest Web3 news and to win big with NFT PowerUp's trivia gaming platform, nftpowerup.io. The space will begin shortly. Please repost the space now to bring in more of our AI and Web3 friends.
Three, two, one. Okay.
Welcome to the space of NFT PowerUp. Compete for blue chip NFTs, cash prizes, and more on NFT PowerUp's trivia platform. The space will begin shortly.
GM.
While you wait.
Yo, GM, hey man, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
All's good. Happy 2024.
I'm still writing the date. Says 23, by the way.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
GM.
It takes a few days.
I hope only a few days.
Yeah. Sarah, how's it going?
Going great, MG. Thanks for asking. What about you, Ayman?
Awesome.
Great to see you here. That's good. Web3 guy, how's your 2024 going so far?
GM, and Happy New Year, everyone. It's great. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. Well, I hope 2024 is full of green candles and big wins. Welcome everyone to Power Up Culture. Super exciting to have you all here with us today. Before we start everything, I just want to ask everyone to retweet the space, get all of our Web3 fans into here, friends into here, and let's kick off this episode. Just to give everyone a quick summary of how the space will go. The first segment is an intro. Then we're going to be going over some industry topics that we have chosen to discuss during this episode. And then finally, we're going to be announcing the trivia winners and the new trivia competition that is out. And that would be it for today's space. So let's kick this episode off with you, MG. What news do you have for us today?
Before we do that, I just want to say hi to some of our regular listeners that I tend to see always. Apo, Max Liquidity, thank you for joining us. Permana was with us as well. Kushti, Austin, Freaking Lincoln as well. So thank you all for joining us today. Go ahead, MG.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, guys. Sarah, what I was about to say was, it was the first day of 2024. It's always a day off, and you're on Twitter. You see Mickey Mouse everywhere. Like, what's the deal with Mickey Mouse? Apparently, it's now in the public domain, but it's not all Mickey Mouse is in the public domain. It's very specifically one episode and one specific character of Mickey Mouse, which was the Steamboat Willie episode of Mickey Mouse, which was a very early version of the cartoon. It was a 1928 short film. I don't know if you guys recall that, where Mickey. It's a very famous one. No, I'm not implying that you're alive back then, Ayman. But if you recall watching any segments or scenes from that short film where Mickey is in this boat and he's like rolling and steering the boat. But yeah, now it's in the public domain. and their reactions are all over the place in terms of artists, in terms of NFTs, in terms of coins, and we're seeing a lot of people making basically trying to make a profit off of this. Since Mickey is a very known character, we've seen coins pop out, coins named Willie, coins named Mickey. They've been doing like millions of dollars in just a few days. But these are meme coins. They're never good to invest in, and this is financial advice. So yeah, it is financial advice. But we've seen these coins. We've also seen NFT projects. There was one NFT project who sold out 2,000 NFTs based on that early version of Mickey Mouse. So a lot of people are trying to monetize and make use and capitalize off of this public domain thing based off of Mickey Mouse. But let's keep in mind, it's not whole Mickey Mouse, because sometimes people tend to be carried away when they don't know all the details about this stuff. It's only the early version of the 1928 Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, that black and white version where you can just use it, you can remix it, and so on. Now it's in the public domain.
MG, I saw that they have labeled January 1st as the public domain day. Was there a reason for making it such a public domain day? Were there any other people that went public as well?
Yeah, sir. They called it that because I have a list of few things or few works that went into public domain. Milne's Winnie the Pooh, the tiger from the House of Pooh's Corner, Peter Pan, Agatha Christie's The Mystery Blue Train, Charlie Chaplin's The Circus, and a few others. They all went into public domain on January 1st of 2024. So that's why they called it. They called it that, but these may have been also a patent on that same year. They also registered their patents in the same year, 1928. It's a 95-year patent, and now it expired. And these works are in the public domain. They can use them, remix them. I don't know. It's in the public domain basically. They can't get sued now.
MG Web3 projects have focused a lot on trying to create characters, storylines, merchandise. They're trying to create detailed characters and clips and content that comes with it. And they always hint at, we're building the next Disney over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So that has always been an ongoing theme that many of the founders talk about. Now, to have an icon which is Mickey Mouse, even if it's an early version of Mickey Mouse on Steamboat Willie, to have that available in the public domain means that such a recognizable asset for people who are very, very young or very, very, very old can be used in any form of content or a game or medium without needing to pay IP rights. So that creates opportunities for many people who want to create that type of recognition, who want to create that type of audience in order to use that character as part of their own content, their own story, their own game. So that allows them to really jump ahead in their own plans without going through the very difficult process of creating your own character and getting people to recognize it and to know it. This is the opportunity for the IP that is more than 95 years old now, that now became public for others to use.
But do you think, given that transition, we expect a lot of projects to hop on that character to try to use it in their own maybe brands, maybe in their own businesses and so on? Do you think it's even valid to consider that as an option, given that it's possible for anyone to use now? I mean, personally, I wouldn't use it if a lot of people would use it. You would want something that would be recognizable to your own brand, just as Mickey was or still is to Disney.
I think there are always opportunities to introduce a recognizable character. So even if you have your full game or your full comic book, having Steamboat Willie's Mickey drop in and say something, do something, it's similar to how you have a guest on Friends. So you have the main characters of Friends there, but you have Bruce Willis drop by, you have Tom Selleck, you have Brad Pitt drop by and play the role. this is a simple example of how it can potentially be used, even if you already have a large brand.
Yeah, and we're seeing that being implemented bit by bit. It's not fully yet implemented with all the IP rights in the NFT space, but Bored Apes has started with it. They launched their own program, which is made by apes. So it's a licensing program where users can use the Bored Apes that they own, and they can brand them, or basically they can match them to their businesses, to their products, to their brands. And it's basically everything is managed by Yuga Labs. You get a license, you apply for a license, you tell them about the business or the brand or product that you do that you own or you want to open or so on. And then definitely you need to own one Bored Ape or one mutant ape in order to start that. So it's still not fully it's not fully a legal system, like how this 95-year-old deal expired in 2024 just now. But so far, few steps have been going in the right direction, and a lot of projects, as you said, are using characters to kind of identify their projects. We know Pudgy, we know VFriends, we know these recognizable characters. They're trying to hop on the IP wave. And it's definitely something good for the brand when you see a character and you can identify which project or which business it comes from.
For sure.
Absolutely. And Ayman, I wanted to ask you, do you think that now with the innovation of Web3, artists will recreate characters with the same ideas and strategies that they have been created 95 years ago? Or do you think they're going to start innovating more on ideas and creating new scenes with that same character?
My mind goes. So there are many artists who have exhibitions and galleries, and they've taken old characters like Mickey Mouse and others, and they've created their own pop culture spin. And in many cases, it's a derivative work, so they're able to get away with it. And I can see many artists use that in a positive way or a negative way, depending on what the artist wants to portray. But the Mickey Mouse character is definitely a strong pop culture character. And a lot of artists will use that Mickey Mouse character in their artwork in one form or another. So we will definitely see that pop up in art as an expression of pop culture.
Absolutely. And one last question to add to my curiosity, because I'd like to add this point of knowledge for myself, is when artists create cartoon, do they do that? Do they include that it has an expiry date once they create these cartoons and artworks? Do they all do that? Or is it just optional to add an expiry date and then mention when it's going to go public?
IP law that protects intellectual property is very complex and is very country specific as well. And even you might protect your artwork in a certain country, but you're not protected in another country. And it's very expensive to get IP protection across 40, 50 countries. So the costs add up, especially if you're an art project or a small business project. Now, companies like Disney, they have a huge number of lawyers, and they've been protecting the copyright work. So they've been doing the necessary trading, the necessary filing for trademark protection. They've been going after people and schools and businesses and commercial entities that have been using the characters of Disney without permission. So there's a full process behind it. What artists and small businesses can do in this is they can look at two paths. Either one path in hopes of making their characters public with no protection. They could go under like Creative Commons Zero or other types of licenses, saying that you're allowed to use it as long as you attribute the artist. And the end goal of this is to gain more popularity and having it more recognizable. So that's one path. The second path would be to actually protect it and copyright it. And for them, the first step would be, and the simpler and the most cost-effective step would be to protect that artwork in the country that the artist is resident in, and maybe another country that they want to expand to, or they're hoping to be their primary market. Beyond this, it's going to become very, very expensive in order to protect in terms of trademark and copyright.
This is super interesting. Thank you for clarifying this. MG, you wanted to say something?
Nope.
Okay, awesome.
I'm not sure how you got that impression. I did not want to say it.
I saw you try to say something and unmute yourself, so I just thought you wanted to say something. Anyways, moving on to X, Elon Musk is always doing new things, and now he's in talks of launching articles for general releases on X, which I think is a significant development. So he's going to start allowing users to monetize their posts for X. It incentivizes content creation and could attract a wider range of creators, potentially boosting the platform's user engagement. And if this model succeeds, then it will actually depend on two things to succeed: the quality and the exclusivity of the content. So if users find real value in the articles and the books published, they might be willing to pay for access. So my question is, how do you think Elon might implement this into X, and do you think it will cause some sort of confusion as to the difference between long form threads and articles? MG, you're muted.
Sarah, I was asking, are these articles being posted on the same feed where we see all the tweets, or is it like a separate section, or what's the deal there?
There wasn't really a lot of clarification on this, because this is what I was actually asking, because there was no serious implementation on whether they're going to implement it on a separate page or on the same feed of your tweets, long forms, and whatnot. But they did mention that you will need to pay for access to read those articles.
Okay, I think this would be maybe a second version of users contributing to creators. We know that there's a subscription that you can subscribe to a user. You can pay monthly. I will say it's not basically donations, but it is some form of donation. So it's a subscription that you do to a user. You got exclusive content and so on. This is another way that has less commitment to a subscription, where you purchase one article that you may seem interested in, and that's it. Well, I'm not sure how these articles will be priced, how low, how high, but it always varies on the creator. And I can see how a lot of news outlets, I'm not sure about the traditional news outlets, because they already have their own platforms, they have their subscriptions, and they have the users. But this is definitely one thing that they can leverage, is that since X has a lot of active users, so why not try posting articles on there?
What the platform X is doing is trying to make sure that all different types of medium live there, whether it's image, text, short form text, long form text, video, audio, all of it lives there. And having long form text, which is reminiscent of articles or blogs, also hosted there, that brings a certain type of author and a certain type of content onto the platform. And people spend more time there reading, going through that content, going through that information that's there. So having that support for this brings in a certain type of people to the platform. Second, people spend more time consuming that content there. And third, it fulfills also part of Elon's. Elon doesn't like the media, especially how they portray certain specific topics, whether related to him and his businesses or something else. So that's why this can be also his own version of smaller media companies that are there, or even large international media companies that have their own content there. And having the payment part, that also could be potentially monetized the same way users pay for subscriptions for users. They would pay for that, and it's also a parallel between what users sometimes pay for paying for access to news websites as well. But this having news, long form text and news on the Twitter platform has been a long time coming. He's been talking about this for a while, and the tech is there for that.
I'm trying to wonder if there's anything else that he can still add that he
payments.
Yeah, payments. I mean, it's on the roadmap. I'm assuming he's working on that. But
once he has that monetization, he won't. Advertisers are he won't care. I mean, he doesn't care about advertisers today, but they really don't care about advertisers once the payment is there.
We won't quote him on what he said to advertisers, but he will definitely not care even more when payments are active on his platform.
Exactly. And it's all about creating new revenue streams for the platform and obviously in return for the creators themselves, if they chose to publish their own articles or purchase access or whatnot. Web3 guy, what do you have for us?
GM, Sarah. So I'm always bringing the AI news, and this week we have a new AI which was specifically trained to analyze paintings. So how does it work? So we all know how famous painters, they all have some like hidden cryptic messages in their paintings and so on. So this AI was specifically trained to analyze these paintings and find hidden messages that the regular human eye can't find. So how does it do so? It analyzes the color palette, the brush strokes, and so on, the force of the brush. So yeah, and what's the news is that this AI was tested on several paintings, and it found on one huge famous painting, very famous, which was, I think, Madonna della Rosa, I think. I don't know if I got that right, but yeah, that's it. And it found that one of the three faces on the painting wasn't really drawn or painted by the same painter. So it analyzed the brushstrokes, the colors, and so on. It wasn't made by the same painter, so it suggests it's maybe one of the students. So yeah, I think AI is starting to really take over people's jobs, especially in early 2024. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I can imagine how high definition that photo must have been that was scanned by the AI machine, so that it can analyze the strokes to give it's fun maybe recommendation to give an analysis. But maybe the artist was having a bad day when he drew that face. I don't know. Did it say that?
Nope. It suggests that another painter, a completely other painter, drew the third face on the painting.
Very interesting.
So I would understand for it to actually capture such a difference or identify the difference. But my question would be, how do they authenticate or prove that actually it has been done by someone else? Ayman, how do you think they can actually prove that?
A couple of things here. So the art industry is ripe for disruption with AI and technology, the same way all other industries are. When I heard about more AI tools coming towards the art industry, I was asked once to invest in a business that does analysis of paintings. So they send certain beams towards artwork and they date them and they analyze, because in the art world there are many layers. So you paint a certain layer, but there's much more art hidden behind it for whatever reasons at the time. So they have 2, 3, 4 layers. So they do some time of spectral imaging and so on. So they go deep into that art and they use machine learning and AI and analytics onto this. So there's a lot that can be done. And as part of the analysis is analyzing the style to say like, look, okay, we studied the 100, 200, 300 images of that type of artist, and we feel this particular type of art or this part of it is very different than the artist's prior work. So it might be a different style that they're trying, like the same way an artist goes from pop to music to rock, trying different styles to appeal to different audiences, or it could be somebody else helped them. And it was very common in old art that they always had an apprentice or two who would do a part of the work. The same way somebody analyzes your handwriting to say that, okay, we've analyzed all of your 100 documents that you've signed or written. This is your style. Therefore, when you write this, there's a certain document that was written, and it's a 60% chance that it's you. So that means maybe somebody else wrote it or tried to mimic you, versus you at 90%. So it's mostly a volume of studying the content, images, text, videos, and so on, looking for patterns, and then analyzing across those patterns.
And I agree 100%, but do you think then they can state it as a fact, or would it just be speculation and analysis that is close to it becoming a fact, but can never become a fact? Because what if actually, as MG said, the artist was having a bad day and the artist is no longer alive to prove this fact?
Well, the artist is no longer alive, so whatever you say or I say or MG says or the tool says is at the end hearsay. But the tool will likely, it won't say it's somebody else. It might be say that it's a X%. Usually what these tools do is they say it's an X% match, or there's an anomaly up to a certain percentage on that. So, and then you would make your own conclusion. Is it an apprentice? Is it the artist having a bad day? Is it the artist doing their own style, trying to do something else there? Is it maybe the artist has a certain style that they do? Some artists, for example, they tend to draw with their left arm always, but then they try some art with the right arm. Are there not enough in that right arm as well for it to be analyzed enough to say that this is from this artist or not? So it will all end up being speculation.
I
Yeah,
love
and
that
also-
perspective.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, go on, please.
Yeah, I wanted just to add that I don't think this is a new tool. Maybe this is kind of news right now because everyone's talking about AI. But I remember in 2018, I was watching a series called The Blacklist, and the same thing happens. Like they have a map, they scan it, they put it in the software. It's a painting with a hidden map and so on. So this gave me the same feeling.
Black Mirror or Blacklist?
Blacklist.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Web3 guys' favorite series. For those who don't know.
Nice.
So, MG, how far do you think this AI can go with analyzing artworks? And do you feel like it's going to analyze things that we never thought would exist?
Okay, with respect to how far it goes, I mean, it depends on how far we feed it information and how far we train it so that it becomes more enhanced and more developed and more intelligent to understand and analyze the smallest of details. What do you mean about analyze stuff that didn't exist?
So maybe there was, I don't know, like Van Gogh's painting had a deeper meaning than to what it was, and then we always thought that it meant something, and then it will just take.
I'll leave that to the English literature teachers to analyze the deeper meanings of Van Gogh's images. I don't think. I mean, definitely AI can tell you like what he was feeling that day, and it's all speculation at the end of the day. But I mean, I would love to try that model and give it a high-def photo of, let's say, the pyramids, and maybe it can tell me how they were built. For example, if it knows a painter had a bad day, or he was painting with the left hand, or a apprentice was painting it, maybe it knows how the pyramids were made. But we've been seeing a lot of developments with how AI analyzes and interprets stuff, and the more you feed it, the more it grows. And we'll see in the few years ahead that what we're talking about now is something very basic, because we're going to have something way more advanced that will definitely make the news.
Absolutely. And I really do hope that we find out soon enough how the pyramids were built. So moving on to other news, we've got Etherscan acquiring SolScan. What can you tell us about this, MG?
Yeah, this type of news reminded me about very early days of the acquisitions of maybe Yahoo acquiring, I forgot the company of Mark Cuban, or the early acquisitions of Google and so on, because Etherscan just purchased SolScan. So they're different blockchains, but they're both blockchain explorers. So the purchase amount or the purchase value was not announced, but basically they just said that Etherscan they wanted to expand their database of blockchain information and data, and they wanted to improve the user experience in terms of what they receive and so on. And I think that's a valid point, because if you have a unified it's not a unified platform, but maybe a unified approach to how users receive and interact with content of the blockchain or with information on the blockchain. I think it's better overall. It's less confusion for new users. It enhances adoption, but it came at a very interesting time. It was during a very unprecedented rally of Solana, which, I mean, at least for now, peaked at $125. But yeah, it's one move. It's an early move by Etherscan. We'll see how much that makes down the line. That makes them down the line, or that helps them down the line. Because Solscan is not a small tool. It's a blockchain explorer for the Solana blockchain, and it has 3 million monthly users. So that's not a small number of users. I mean, you're talking about millions of users monthly using the platform, accessing data on the blockchain, and so on. So this is one approach to maybe unify the blockchain explorers, and we'll see what Etherscan has up its sleeve.
Does this solidify Solana's position alongside the ETH and Bitcoin?
You know, it's interesting, Ayman, because Solana is always considered the killer of Ethereum, and no, whenever you talk about Solana, there are a lot of people who are very passionate about Solana, and they say it's the Ethereum killer, and you can do so much things better on Solana. It has faster transactions, cheaper fees, and so on. But I think this move, it kind of recognizes, I would say, Solana as a major contender in the top ranks of blockchains, layer 1 blockchains. To answer your question, I think it does, because Vitalik was never bashing Solana on social media. In fact, it was the opposite way around. Whenever Solana had some bad days, he was not, I wouldn't say encouraging users, but he was more supportive than not, given that their reputation was that they're very competitive, and Solana is the Ethereum killer. So I think, it definitely boosts the status or the stance of Solana with respect to other coins in the top 10.
MG, do you think, are they gonna merge both tools so it's one tool now, or they're gonna keep them as two different separate tools?
Okay, no, I don't think so. I'm reviewing my notes, but no, I don't think so. I think they will keep it separate, but they will benefit from having access to both databases at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Now, if I still have a bit of news to cover today, and it's also about AI. The first ever fully automated AI-powered restaurant opened in Southern California, I think. And we also some restaurants, like, this is not new. You can, they automated orders. They give you an iPad. You just include your tap order, and that's it. 10 minutes later, the food comes. Now, this restaurant took it to the next level where they invested in robotics. So the robots cook your burgers, they fry your fries, and so on. And I think this is good. One, it reduces costs on businesses, especially during the low season, because restaurants suffer a lot during low seasons. And as they said, now, I don't know if this is accurate or true, but it reduces waste. So it knows exactly how much oil to put on your burger. It never burns the food, and so on. So I don't know about eating from a robot, letting a robot being my chef. So I don't know about that. It seems a bit weird for me.
Web3 guy, in Dubai, there was a restaurant that already had this for a while now. It was before AI. It was basically machines building the food, machines serving the food, and so on. You had people, here and there, of course, to help out with a couple of things, but it's primarily running machines on it, and it was part of the appeal to go and see that. But of course, now everything's AI enabled, right? So they've added these are AI enabled machines. So, but yeah, and they will cook your food. But the microwave Web3 guy cooks your food, heats your food. But you don't have to understand how microwaves work. You just use them, and it's cool.
Oh, by the way, Ayman, my microwave is AI powered. Just so you know.
Of course it is. The mic I'm using for the space is AI powered.
It's AI powered, exactly. Yeah, this also reminds me. This reminds me of factories that produce foods. You have this whole pipeline of just machines moving in different ways. But now, as Ayman said, it's just adding this AI feature onto existing robots.
Yeah, and I don't know, but I think robots are like expensive to maintain, especially if they're AI powered. So isn't that more expensive than just hiring a talented chef to take care of the food?
Now, on the concept of machines replacing people in cooking and preparing and serving food, if it's expensive or cheaper to do that in the long term or less maintenance, the answer is it depends. So one aspect is, of course, there's a great PR spin of we're one of the first to do this. We have AI, come and see it, come experiment with it, and so on. So that has a nice PR/marketing spin on that. But then on the day-to-day aspect, the F&B industry, in all countries struggle with a high turnover rate. So the people who are serving the food or cooking the food or working in that industry, there tends to be a high turnover rate. That means, you have to consistently hire, you have to consistently train. And then after a short period of time, a lot of the people leave, and then you are stuck in that cycle. So if you want to factor in the costs of hiring, firing, training, gaps and errors that happen there, that will add up in terms of the costs of that. So the cost of a machine to do so might not be that far away necessarily, but still it's definitely expensive to set up, especially when there's also another thing to factor in. The life cycle of certain restaurants is anywhere between 1 to 3 years until they really find their footing. So if they end up closing in a year or two, they won't be able to make back the money that they paid for the machines. But if they're in there for the long term, for 7, 8, 9 years, then it's better. Now, I think somewhere in the middle, so restaurants like McDonald's and Burger King and the quick service types of restaurants, they've automated a lot of this. So they have automated timers and automated heating and so on. So the operators are doing basic functions as in lifting a lid, closing a lid, adding an element, removing an element. So they have a lot of that already automated for decades now. So taking that a bit of a bigger step can work, and it's cost effective. So you're not getting a fully robotic, but it's a little bit more than what you have today. I think that would be a good balance between the two.
Ayman, this conversation is reminding me a bit of the Industrial Revolution and how there was this uproar about how machines are taking over, and now we're just operating the machines. But I believe this also is applying to the F&B industry. As you said, McDonald's is automating a lot of processes, and what's ending up doing is that they're cutting costs and just hiring maybe machine managers and machine operators. But I would play devil's advocate a bit and say that they're taking away from the jobs that are potentially going towards humans. I don't know if we reach a time where we're just sitting at home. A lot of people are just sitting at home. They're unemployed. Good governments are giving them their unemployment benefits, and all the robots are doing all the work. But it's happening also in the movie industry, where we've seen an uproar where a lot of actors did not want their images being used by AI, maybe their voices being used by AI. So I think it's how do you say? It's a double-edged sword, where it has its benefits, but then again leaves a lot of people in the dark.
Having technology replace humans has been a topic for ever since the Industrial Revolution and even before. And there are many jobs that were in the past that are no longer there. However, with new technology, there are new jobs as well being created, like social media influencer, like the needs for ghostwriters, and there are many jobs that are created with technology that were not there before. And so this is where the challenge is. There will be jobs that will definitely be replaced as technology comes along, and it depends on the opportunities that these people have in terms of upskilling, in terms of better education, in terms of better opportunities for work, in terms of being in a country or environment that either enables you or stays far behind, that you can work the same job for the next 10, 15, 20 years or so. So it will always be a problem, and we will always have to play catch up. And tech is behind us, behind us, pushing us forward, and a lot of people don't have much of a choice, and they will likely lose their job, and need to be able to upskill and change their roles very, very soon.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I fully agree, but when we say fully automated, don't you think that even AI and robots will still need a minimal crew to actually manage them and just oversee their work, rather than just have a restaurant fully operated by AI and no humans are there to maintain AI's work?
And in any industry, when you have 10 people doing a job, when you include automation, there's an automated system and a process, and that brings the number of people needed down from 10 people down to 3 or 2. They become supervisors on the machine and on the quality of the output. So instead of hiring 10 people, you're only hiring 2 or 3 people to do the work. So it won't go to 100% automation. You'll always need 1 or 2 people to do so. They're more skilled, and they have a different job role. And this has always been the case. So, for example, if you look at farming, you used it to plow the land. You needed to have, humans physically plowing every row of the field. Then the tractor came along, where it has four or 5 teeth that can plow at the same time. You only needed 1 person operating the tractor who can plow the whole field, instead of the 10 or 15 different farmers that you need for that. So, that being the case, I'm talking to you now about an example that does not affect you because you were never a farmer anyway, right? So you had other opportunities and other education and other work. So it's the same. It will happen in other industries, and there are other people who will be born who will go into newer industries that are different and unaffected by how technology affected them before.
Ayman, on that note, I know a family friend, her father, she's my friend, his job was literally a money counter at the bank. So yeah, as you said, they were 15 people. All they have to do was count money every day, count money. And when the automated money counter came, everyone got the early retirement, and they kept 1 or 2 people.
And that's a bit of a problem, Web3 guy, because a long time ago, it was enough for you to have an education, like a university degree, and your first job. That was enough, because your job paid you enough to live a decent life. You'd stayed in the same job for 20, 30, 40 years. But with time and with challenges and increased expenses and technology and changing work environments, and we wanting to spend more on leisure things for us, you can't stay in the same job for a long time. You cannot stay with your same skill set for a long time. You need to make more money. You need to go find, be further fulfilled in the job that you have, or find a job that fulfills you. You need to make more money during the whole process. You need to learn new things. Otherwise, you can't stay in the same position due to how fast things move now.
Ayman, I have a little bit of a broader question. So we thought at first that most companies will be adopting Web3 or the blockchain element of things, but its adoption is still minimal and not widely adopted. Do you think most companies will implement AI, and how fast do you think they should go on with that process of implementing AI into their businesses?
Now, AI is going through a hype cycle. So now everybody wants to be in AI. Everybody wants to enable whatever they're using AI. They want to talk to their boss and friends and customers about AI to show that they're hip and and they're into this and they're using this. Plus, the early version of AI, which is generative AI, is easy to use. So you open up an interface of ChatGPT or equivalent, and you type in a few lines of text, and it gives you an output. With Web3 and blockchain and NFTs and so on, it's more difficult to get that type of output because you have to learn a lot to go in and use it. You have to have a specific business problem to add to this. It's very difficult to explain. So the adoption of that is longer. It will take longer than that of AI. So a hype cycle plus ease of use on this. Moreover, using AI in any type of industry means efficiency, means less hiring, means different hiring, means upskilling, means something that you can do and use today as well. So that's definitely an element that contributes to the increased adoption of AI.
That was beautifully answered. Thank you, Ayman, for this. Guys, I think we have covered all the news outlets that we had for today. And I think it's safe for us to move to the audience favorite part, which is trivia. Web3 guy, what do you have for us?
Get ready, everyone. We're about to announce this week's trivia winners. Ready? Here we go. In third place, the winner is
Cody.
In second place, big cheers for
Jennifer.
And now, the moment of supreme glory. This week's trivia master, the champion of champions, is...
This is Mary.
Thanks to all who played. Be sure to join NFT PowerUp for another thrilling round of trivia. Who knows, you could be our next big winner. Turn on your notifications.
You know, Web3 guy, I like your winner announcement voice. It gets deep and it reminds me of weighing 345 pounds. John.
MG, that was spot on. If I didn't know that you were saying that, I really would have thought that you were playing an audio by someone else. Congratulations to the winners. We cannot wait to see who's going to be topping the leaderboard next week with the trivia that is currently out, Mastering NFTs. So we're in Web3. Show us if you really know your NFTs. Do you know what the token standards are? Do you know what NFTs main use case is? Test your skills on the trivia, and we cannot wait to see who wins and tops the leaderboard next week. For everyone, it has been a great space. We hope you had insightful knowledges, and we cannot wait to see you next week. Web3 guy, MG, Ayman, any last words?
What's the trivia for next week?
It's Mastering NFTs.
We're going.
MG, can you say it in that voice?
What?
Can you say it in that voice, MG?
Weighing, no, mastering NFT. Mastering NFTs.
Awesome. Thank you, MG. Amen, Web3 guy, MG. It's always great to converse with you. Audience, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next week.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Join us again next Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We hope you have enjoyed listening and gained valuable insight into the world of AI and Web3. Until then, keep powering up.